Oh my god. Hi, good afternoon. And I'm Semiat, and I'll be talking on inner child trauma. So, this inner child trauma is not only about the. Why you be saying? My god. Okay, it's not only about the fact that we just jump into the healing from the pain or the cleansing of the story. It's about we analyzing and identifying the causative agent of the situation. So, to begin with, when we talk about inner child trauma, it's not something that is actually happening to a child presently. It's something that have happened to a child and actually live on the child forever, like till they reach adulthood, then they begin to analyze and visualize some situation about themselves, and they begin to question why is this happening to me, why can't I do this, why can't I do that. So what is it that is the inner child trauma? Then, what causes inner child trauma and how do we identify inner child trauma? Inner child trauma is not something that is physical that we just see on someone's forehead and say, oh, this person has inner child trauma. No. Then the last question is, how do we heal from inner child trauma? So, inner child trauma is actually defined as the pain and discomfort an adults can feel when they've already grown up, like the pain they've already keep in themselves for a very long period of time, since their childhood or as they are growing up. So many events that have happened to their life, of which they know that they faced the situation when they were a child, but they actually did not go back to think about it, or to, when we are children, we don't actually tend to be dwelling in the reason why we are facing some situation, why my daddy has to be beating me, or why my family has to be insulting me or something, or why a friend has to be trashing me or something. We don't keep ourselves in the position of thinking or dwelling into why. But when we grow old, we begin to visualize that, okay, like I used to be this kind of person, why did I depreciate, or I am not effective enough, then why is this happening? So these are the effect of inner child trauma on individual. So what causes inner child trauma? From the definition, we've actually say something that might enhance us to know what causes inner child trauma. Most of the circumstance that cause inner child trauma is based on parenting, or relatives, or friends. It can be from anyone. So, parenting, sometimes our parents will face some situation that as a child we don't understand. We don't even know that they are facing challenges, but the way they treat us can be traumatized on us. And at that particular time, we are just children, we just live by it. But when we grow up, it has already deposited some kind of character in us that we know it is not normal, it is not okay. So the causes can be from any situation, from anywhere, and also from friends. There are some that loves to make friends. Your parents might be very good to you, give you so many goodness of emotion, but you actually get to school and mix up with friends, and they begin to give you some pains, some friends, bullying in school, and you are being neglected sometimes. That can that can actually deposit in you some inner child trauma. Also, relatives, there are some relatives that will just come to your house, and they will just knock you on the head. Okay. That can be funny, but I'm not actually saying that's the cause of inner child trauma. But actually it can be part of it. Some children, we all have different emotional type, and the way we are raised also has effect on our emotion. So relatives too can cause our emotion, our inner child trauma. So Now, what how can we identify that we actually have inner child trauma, and how can we heal from inner child trauma? Okay, we can actually identify our inner child trauma by we paying attention to ourselves. Like you are able to really analyze yourself. Like you check your emotions, like all type of emotion that comes to you, you try to think about it and analyze it, that why am I feeling emotional over this? To not be personal. Before, for me now, I used to be very attached to friends, but now I realize that no, it's not like before, because I have actually go deep about why should I be like that. When some friends some friends will even trash you, or they will even do you as if no, you are not even a human. So why should like that means something is wrong with the emotion. Why should you be attaching? Okay, I'm not attaching. But why should you be emotional to some things that are irrelevant? Of course. Okay, people are good. It's good to make friends. It's good to be this, to be that. But why should it be extreme? Sometimes you might love a friend so much and they can like you moderately, but or they can like another friend. But if you are showing them too much likeness and you always want it to be you as their friend consistently, it might be choking them, it might be inconvenient for them. And you might be thinking that, oh, why does this person hate me and everything like that? Meanwhile, you yourself supposed to be moderate in the way you actually deal with such a friend, so that the friend won't feel inconvenient or something and all. So the next point of how we can identify our inner child trauma is our thinking process. Okay, someone big taught me about that. Anyways, I'm still growing. So our thinking process, sometimes we might be thinking that we are positive minded, and eventually when we give ourselves the time to actually focus and look into our inner child, how we grow, what has happened to us, why do we do this and that. So we might finally see that we are thinking in a way that is actually not right. We might be thinking that, oh, I used to think right, I am this, I used to think this, I used to think that. But meanwhile, we might actually not be doing so. Our thinking process might be wrong, and we might be thinking it is always right. Then inadequacy. You see, the aspect of inadequacy might be something we don't identify on time. This is where we always do things to please others, thinking we are doing things because this is who we are, we have grown well. But when it remains us alone, my husband, you gave me the break. When it remains us alone, we actually realize that the inadequacy is much, because the adequacy we used to have is because we are trying to please the people around us in the past. We are trying to do well for the people around us. But when it is us, like when it is you alone, you realize that you are not competent as you used to be, you are not proactive as you're supposed to be, and you eventually realize that why, what is wrong with me. Then you begin to brush it up, and all these are the identification of our inner child trauma. Because if when we look into it, why did I do like this, maybe, and why am I not doing like this? Of course, a child that has been used excessively, like to be working irrelevantly for some adults in the past, like shisha, okay, sorry, work. Eventually, if the child stop working actively, it might be as a result of excessive work, of the trauma of, oh, why can I be doing this? I have done a lot of this in the past. How can I even face to be doing this again? Like you just lose the motive and the motivation to keep going. So the inadequacy, all these 3 points I tried to list, there are many, but these 3 points is 80, so we should listen. 80 kagbodada. So how to heal from inner child trauma? The first thing is awareness. We need to give ourselves the time to analyze who we are. But before then, we need to, if we truly want to heal from the inner child trauma, we need to be aware of who we were, like who we used to be as a child, as we are growing up. Then what are the things that happen? You know, there are some children that begins to grow intelligently, but as a result of circumstance, maybe the foresee home, all sort of things, have to be shifting from one place to another, or some children that in their parents' home, maybe the parents are always fighting. All of a sudden, the intellectuality of the child begins to depreciate. So who we were, you know, the child was intelligent in the beginning, and eventually the child begins to lose the intellectuality. So all these, who we were, so who we are, am I still intelligent or I'm becoming dull? So who we are, then who do I want to become, or who do I long to become? You understand? So if you really long to be intelligent and to be more knowledgeable, then the work then begins. Then you accept that who you were and who you are, then you keep working on yourself to who you want to become. So that is where acceptance comes in. So acceptance of the past and the present. So you accept the then, and you accept the then of everything that happens. Okay, all this thing happens to me. Okay, it's okay. Life is too short. Things happen. Then the present, you accept the present. Okay, this is who I am now. I'm not as good as I used to be, of course. In those time of pain, there were times you are very good. So I'm not as good as I used to be. Then I want to be better. So to be better is to firstly forgive ourselves. So forgiveness towards yourself and all that traumatized you. So when we say forgiveness towards yourself, everybody will be like, why do I need to forgive myself? Of course, we all have to forgive ourselves. When we say you have to forgive this person, we believe that, oh, it's easy. I don't keep grudges, or I don't hate people, so I can forgive the person easily. But when we say forgive yourself, it seems like, what does that supposed to mean? How can I not forgive myself? But sometimes we don't forgive ourselves, and we think we forgive ourselves. So when we say about this forgive yourself and all that traumatize you, is about the fact that we've already seen all these things that happens to us. The reason why we've not been good enough, the reason why we used to be good enough and we stop being, even want to try and everything like that. Then forgive yourself, because something is hindering you, something has been blocking you, which is the inner child trauma that has been blocking you to be good, to be proactive, to be amazing, to become competent and confident of yourself. Then forgive yourself, as in you have to forgive the pain, the trauma. You have to let it go. Know that it has happened. Otiwa Otishele, it has happened and it's not happening right now. Then you need to move on and be so beautiful of yourself. Okay. Then forgive your family, relative, or friends that caused you the pains. You know, like we said, this trauma is not necessarily that is you that begin to cause yourself pain. There are some children that they weren't aggressive in the beginning of their life, but because of the experience they've seen in their family, in their parents, in their relative or friends, they begin to cut themselves all of a sudden, and everybody will be like, why is this child doing like this? Or they get to school and they don't fight before, they used to be very manner. All of a sudden they begin to fight in school, disturb the class, insult the teacher and everything. Small children, okay, it's not necessarily you are too small. So all of a sudden they just change, switch of character. So then, who are the people that caused you to be coming all the things you don't want to become? And you just have to forgive and let it go. Life is too short. You forgive yourself and you forgive those people that caused you to become of pain, become traumatized, and become who you don't want to be. So the last one is you live to your fullest self. Like, are you doing the best of the things you can do? Like, are you truly doing the best of the things you actually will to do? Like, you want to write a note now Are you sure you write the note in the best way you actually want to write it? It's not necessarily you want to write a note, or you want to talk to someone about something important and you just do casual. So are you truly sure that you actually do it to the fullest? Like do you really, like, now you someone calls you and that person wants to talk to you about something important, and that person believes in you that yes, you can actually talk to him or her in a way that can help to move forward and heal. Maybe the person is in pain or something, or progress, or like you are, someone is being directed to you from school to help in the aspect of study or something like that. Then you just interact with the person casually without, you need to live to your fullest, like, and you don't enjoy your life all the time, because there are times you need to endure. So live to your fullest. At the time of enjoyment, live to your fullest. And at the time of endurance too, live to your fullest. Like, you try your best. It is all about you. Seriously, it is all about you, because if you heal from the trauma, if you heal from the pain, it is you that will improve. It is all about you, and the beauty will come all to you. So, and it begins from you. That is why we said forgive yourself. So it all begins with you, and it's all about you. And the last point is be truthful to yourself. Whatever the pain is, there are some that face abuse, domestic abuse, sexual abuse, all sort of pains that can cause inner child trauma. So be truthful to yourself. Say it to yourself, visualize it, analyze it, and try to heal from it. So as you heal from it, you become someone you really want to become. That's the beauty. And finally, oh my God, what is happening right now? Have I been talking and this thing has not been moving? Oh, my husband, what have happened? Oh my God. Oh, what happened? Okay, so lastly, be the parent, the relative, or the friend you would have loved to have. Like, you know, feel that childhood self of yours and be to yourself who you really will to have at that particular time. Sometimes I used to look at my childhood self like, oh my God, you this girl, sorry. Sometimes you even cry out of it, seeing that girl in yourself, and oh my God. So it is important that you be to yourself who you will to have, the friend you will to have. You are amazing in your own way, like, you are lovely. So if friends shows you some kind of reaction, or they do, or they neglect you, or sort of things, please, life is too short. Be your friend's friend, be yourself's friend. Then be the relative you will to have, like the parent you will to have, not yourself. Be the parent you will to have it to yourself, the relative you will to have to yourself, not yourself as a parent to yourself. Right, care for yourself as a relative to yourself, and be good to yourself as a friend to yourself. Then be the love you deserve. Be the love you deserve to yourself. Life is too short. And the most amazing, lastly, so be aware of your inner child trauma and heal with confidence. Like, heal with confidence. Then you can also come to us, contact us at Sammy Book Corner anytime, any day. We are always here for you. Thank you. Ali Samia. Bye bye. Salamat.